Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, haircut and all. And usually we have Varla Ventura on every time this month, but she's going to be busy for this month and next month. So Bryan Bowden is going to be filling in for her. Yes, we call him Lady Bryan around here. Oh, long story. But first, let us say hello to each and every one of you, including Eternity Eternal in the gold medal position. We have Kitty Cattywhack with a silver, Necessary Dialogue with a bronze medal tonight. Frankie B, how you doing? Mel WD40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because when Bryan Bowden is on, you have to be nice and lubed because his stories will just slide right in to our memory bank, that is. And so, Mel, thank you for lubing us up. Don't forget to give yourself a little shot as well. Race fan, how you doing? T-Bone, my man, what is up? As we scroll on down on our roll call to say hello to Robert Lamoth, Mickey G, nice to see you. Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, how are you? Cairo Terra, nice to have you here again. As we continue on with our roll call, Gear Jammers, good to have you here as well. Mama Catherine, there she is. Mwah. I love you, my dear. Hope you're having a great night. And I know you always enjoy it when Bryan's on the show. So it'll be a fun one for you to listen to, I promise. Moving on down, let us say hello next to Luscious Jules. How are you? Walter Kochabinski is here. Walter will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Luscious Jules and Jaquetta, nice to have you both here. As we scroll on down on our roll call. Hi there, Carol Amario. How are you? And who is next on our list? It's Trucker Andrew, everybody. Mark SRT Wolf. How you doing? Nice to see you. Flubber Lane, nice to have you here. Scrolling on down. Full Mount, welcome to SOR Chat. Cosmic Joe, how you doing, my friend? As we continue on with our roll call. Kurt M, good to see you. And Honest Content, how you doing? Moving on down. Who is next on our list? Well, let's just scroll on down a little bit more. It's Laura Elizabeth. Laura Elizabeth will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Making our way down, we got Digger Dog, we got Fat Nuts, and who else do we have? We have Thunderhead. How you doing, buddy? Mickey, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. Jeff Steve Garvey is here. He'll hit a home run for you as we continue on with our roll call. Eva, how are you? Eva, Aruba. Wow, look at that. Alexander from Aruba. Welcome to SOR Chat for the first time. We're glad you're here. I get to put Aruba now on my calendar or on my map. That is cool. Aruba. Nice. Undead Jed, Tallest Ones, how you guys doing? Nice to see you. As we scroll on down to say hello to Stargazer and Matthew Goodka. Thanks for coming on in. Moving on down, who is next on our list? Well, let's take a look here. It's Diane Boss. How are you? And let's see here. Who else do we have? Well, we have Jessica S. River Dog. How are you? And let's see. We get to sneak one more in. Deborah Rooney, the Sacramento Treat. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to get into monsters, legends, folklore. Brian Bowden is here from Third Eye Live, a man with 8,347 podcasts, all running at once. It's amazing how he does it. Babylon Rose, how you doing on our YouTube side? Nice to see you as we continue on with our roll call here. And I think we're caught up. We are officially caught up. Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store at our website. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Throw those horns up, everybody. Just like that. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin knows. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the newswire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. You have until tomorrow to get your VIP tickets for Caribou Con, the only paranormal conference in British Columbia in 2026. Go to cariboucon.com. Get your tickets today. We're talking monsters, we're talking legends, and we are talking all sorts of scary things tonight. Brian Bowden is here, and we're going to have a great time. He's filling in for a vacationing and working Varla Ventura, so we're going to have a good time with him. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another creepy story. We will follow that up with Grant Baker, who'll be back for the UFO report in hour 3. So let's get right to it, shall we? Let's have a lot of fun. Brian Bowden is an internationally recognized researcher and broadcaster, author, entrepreneur, and a speaker whose work spans UFOs, cryptids, paranormal investigation, consciousness studies, remote viewing, and other unexplained phenomena. A native of New York City, now living in Florida, and a graduate of Pace University with a degree in international finance, Brian began his career in global finance, working with initiatives involving the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and leading Wall Street broker-dealers. He eventually transitioned from the corporate world to pursue his lifelong passion for investing in the unknown, dedicating decades to field research and media production. An active investigator for a long time, Brian has explored countless reports involving Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, hauntings, psychic phenomena, and so much more. He hosts a great podcast on YouTube called Third Eye Live, where he interviews leading researchers and experiencers with examining topics such as intuition, spiritual awakening, hidden knowledge, and what it's like to grow a fantastic beard. We're going to get him on the air with us right now. Brian Bowden, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio again. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really good. A little bit tired, but good. been a long trip for me right now. But I see a lot of family in the audience and new names, but they'll become family quickly. That's how we work at Spaced Out Radio.
You were going from the Gettysburg Conference last week to a conference where in Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's where you're going next?
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to Tennessee to the Tennessee Wildman Conference. Yes, Wildman Conference. I have a lot of good guys, friends that will be speaking there. We have the Adam and Shelby from the Half Inch Wrench Crew, Miguel Ramirez, who is Sasquatch Theory, will be doing a presentation there. Harley Owen and a whole bunch of others. These are really, really great researchers that are in the field constantly. And thank God it's not the same old, same old. Although I'm friendly with a lot of these, celebrities, I'm tired of seeing them. I want to get real other people out there and get their turn, at that Salt Lick, because they're really great researchers that don't get their shot. Hi, Diane. Hi, everybody.
Well,
Hi,
I mean,
Woo.
one of the things that we need to remember, though, Brian, is for a lot of these conferences, you have to bring in those big names in order to draw the people in. And unfortunately, someone like, even if I went to a conference way out east where a lot of people may not have listened to Spaced Out Radio before, you kind of look at it and you're like, they're going to be like, who the hell is this guy from Canada? Right? I mean, so you do have that happening.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I mean, it's literally the same people and it's the same conversation. If you followed these people, conference after conference after conference, you're going to hear the same thing over and over again. There's nothing new, and there's a lot that's new that no one's reporting on except for the other people that are out there doing the research. And to be honest, there's a lot of people that are celebrities that don't do any research. They haven't done research in a long, long time. And that's, I guess, your name, but, for the love of God, go out in the field. And don't do the camera shot out in the field. I mean, there used to be some researchers that would go, Dogman, hunting or researching by driving, in their vehicles through some kind of forest. That doesn't always work. Don't get me wrong. A large portion of Bigfoot sightings are caught on dash cams. But we need something new and something fresh in the field. Like I was just at a paranormal conference, SSDD, as I say, and I'm going to be very ginger with what that means, because we're on radio as well as terrestrial radio as well as internet. But there's other people out there and they need a shot too. So maybe you have one or two people drawing some people in as a name, and then you start getting these other people like myself and you and a few others out there, and then we start getting the visual and the name recognition, because I mean, frankly, we deserve it. And it's not a jealousy thing. It's time to throw out the old lettuce and bring in a fresh head.
Wow, what an analogy from a guy who has great lettuce on top of his head. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. He's doing the conference circuit right now. What do you love about the conference circuit? What's fun? Why would people listening want to go to a conference? Like say, for instance, if they're listening in Kelowna on 11:50 a.m. right now, why would they want to drive up to 108 Mile Ranch to attend CaribouCon? What's the fun of a conference for you?
I like it because it's something that I'm interested in. Even if you're just curious, gets you out of the house. It can be very much a family affair if you do have a family to go with, but you broaden your horizons and you get to go to these wonderful locations like 108 up there, and you get to meet new people. As we can see in the chat, I mean, there's, tens of thousands of people that are like a mini community here. And they go to a lot of the same shows, but they also go to the conferences. And what a great way to meet people in person that you've had conversations with for years. One of my good friends is someone who I met in the chat room of Spaced Out Radio. And frankly, it's the same person that I was on with Ron Murphy that night when we called to try to get drinks named after us. But Mr. Bigfoot Michigan Rob was dealing with the police because he was potentially getting arrested for blowing stuff up
I think that was a
outside the bar.
4th of July
So
night.
it was, this is, yeah. So it's one of these things where, and there he is, Bigfoot Michigan Rob's in the chat. It's, there's nothing like meeting these people. It's, if it really, when you meet someone that you just know their handle, like Woo or Bamora, Kitty Catty Whack, Diane Boss. I mean, I can go through through the list there. Mickey G. These are wonderful people that we have conversations with, and really nice ones. And sometimes they're more intimate because we get to vent. Go to these conferences, you'll meet these people. You'll go to dinner with them. You may go and investigate something with them. Get out, see the world. And in the process, you may fall in love with the subject matter. It may just be like, I'm curious about it. I'll just go for the shopping.
I think you hit the
Because a
nail
lot of
on the
times
head.
vendors are there, and it's a great place to go to get. Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there, where you said, if you're curious, it's a good place. These conferences are a good place to go and meet people who are of your ilk. Like, you don't have to be shy at these conferences. If you're
No.
UFO experiencer or a cryptid experiencer, maybe your house is haunted, you don't have to be shy to sit there and talk to people, because everybody there has had an experience one way or another. So
Yep.
sure, you're going to get your curious Georges there who believe in the subject, but have never gone out in the forest to look for Bigfoot, or never lived in a haunted house, or, because they go to bed at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. They're never outside looking for UFOs because they don't think they happen in the daytime, which they do. Right.
Yes, they do.
I mean, but
Very
it's,
much.
it's a good place, like you said, to expand your horizons and your friendship level.
Yeah. I've met numerous people that were there because they were told to go to one of these conferences to pick up sage to cleanse their house, and they don't know how to cleanse it. So what a great place to go figure out how to cleanse a home or a car or a vehicle, and get other tips for it too. And it's every best friend was once a perfect stranger. So something about this community is great, no matter if it's paranormal, cryptid, UFO, what have you. None of us are really that shy in this community. And you meet some of the funnest, most wonderful people you ever meet in your life. There's a reason why we're all, watch Spaced Out Radio, subscribe to Spaced Out Radio, and other broadcasts, Bigfoot Michigan Rob shows. There's a comfort level there. Everybody seems to feel like they know you, Uncle Davey. And it's kind of, it's not a celebrity thing for us. It's just a friendship. It's information and friendship.
Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, as we are talking about conferences in the UFO, cryptid, and paranormal world. They are all over the place right now. And this would be a good time for me to put a shameless plug in, because I'd love to see all of our listeners up at Caribou Con, September 18th through 20th. You can get your tickets right now. VIP tickets are on for another 24 hours, but tickets are on sale at cariboocon.com. CARIBOO con, CON.com, cariboocon.com. So make sure you go get your
tickets. Bigfoot, well, I was going to throw in there because he's so close to Canada. that Bigfoot Michigan Rob should make a pop-up appearance at Caribou Con. I'm not throwing you under the bus, Rob. I love you to death, but how cool would that be?
It would be good to see him. It would be good to see old Robbie.
Yes, I'd love to. I mean, if I can get a renewal of passport real quick, and I'm working on it right now, you may see me there at Caribou Con.
Well, that would be cool. That would be very cool.
That would be really cool. Of course, I'll be wearing a New York Rangers jersey.
Oh, that would be disgusting. That would be horribly disgusting. Friends don't let friends be Rangers fans.
Oh, please.
Let me tell you that. Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. You have had multiple encounters with multiple creatures. You are somebody who is a multiple experiencer of the unknown. We're going to stick with more the cryptid dark side with this tonight. You know, there's a lot going on in the Bigfoot world because, you know, I mean, a lot of people have money these days. You know, money's hard to come by. Bills are tight, car payments, insurance, you name it, rent, mortgage, whatever it is. And when I'm looking at it here, I look at, you know, a lot of people are wondering, you know, they can't do the Disneylands anymore, the Mexico or the Hawaii vacations, because there's just not enough dough in the bank account to do that. I mean, try and get a decent hotel now anywhere is $200-300 a night. For what? Nobody spends time in their room except for about 6 hours when you're sleeping. Then you wake up and shower. And it is what it is, though. A lot more people are camping. A lot more people are having experiences out there and having these encounters that they may not have. Going camping, you know, maybe hiking or spending more time in nature, Brian. Are you seeing a trend in more sightings from people who would normally not have sightings?
Oh, 100%. Something you can do, it's really inexpensive depending on where you are. I don't know about Canada, but we do have a lot of parks. We have state lands as well as federal lands. I think there's a federal admission price, but in the state, for the most part, you can pull into most of these places. I'm going to throw the Green Swamp, for example, Western Florida, and you can drive through and you can park the car and hike, and you very well can have a really cool interaction with Bigfoot. I've heard of people through third parties, like my cousin went in the woods recently in this part above Palm Beach County, Florida, and below where Cape Canaveral is, and they went into the forest and they saw what they thought it was a bear standing up, and it wasn't. It looked more human, you know, and they don't know what to make of it, and they reported to Fish and Wildlife, and those guys, the men and women there, are not going to take that report, but they will sometimes close off that area, making it inaccessible. But this is what's happening with people, and to be honest, it's a great way to just get out, get some exercise. We're under all this electronic stuff all the time, and instead of taking a selfie pic or what you're picking up in the mall, how about you go in the woods, take some really nice nature shots, and you very well may be catching something on your camera that is out of this world, you know, like a UFO or an extraterrestrial Dogman. It's the chance is endless. I mean, you can continue doing it. That's one of the things that is taking place. Another thing is, because of all the development, these little enclaves and communities being developed and trying to sell to people, it's taking that space for nature and closing it off. So not only are you getting Bigfoot sightings now, but you get bears coming real close to home. There are big cat sightings all over the US right now, like big cat, not your normal mountain lion, more on the panther side of the equation. And panthers haven't been here for thousands of years. So when you go into the forest, the one thing I'm going to say is one expense you should definitely have is a whistle, air horn, and bear spray. And, be mindful of you're in nature. Please don't do what most of these people do at Yellowstone. They get out of their vehicles and they try to get the ultimate photo of the buffalo. And the next thing you know, they're fighting for their lives in a hospital. Please be careful about that, because that's FAFO moment. You don't want to do that. You can get a really good shot, not really getting that close to it.
We actually have a
But you
T-shirt on
camp
our
for
store
free.
right now.
You can travel.
We
Yeah.
actually have a T-shirt
So
on our
it's
store
just-
right now of an alien getting rocked by a buffalo.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
It's that is fantastic. I'm waiting for electronic. I've seen some stuff where they're doing screen printing that is almost like having a little mini electronic monitor, and you can kind of put an animated graphic into it. So that's going to be really cool for all of us in this industry. But some of the shirts at that point are going to, or the hats or whatever, are going to go off the chart. But and I saw someone wrote Florida Walmart's like the Wild West. Yeah, they are. That's always a fun experience. Just make sure you have your tetanus shot before you go in. And but there's not only Bigfoot sightings. There's
Are we still talking about Walmart? Bigfoot sightings at Walmart?
No, we're not. But they're probably there too. No, someone was talking about Walmart being the Wild West. But it's not only Bigfoot sightings, there are also Dogman sightings. And there is, and I can't describe it, there's some kind of, best thing to do is like a shadow or something that seems to have some kind of form, but it's more it's darker in color, like a live shadow, that people are now seeing. And someone I know that saw something like that, he said, if you remember in the movie, oh my God, Ghost, when the bad shadows would literally, it's just a shadow would slide all over the place, and eventually it would consume some of the evil that was there. He said it felt like that. So I don't know what that is at this point.
Bryan,
but it could be very interesting to find out.
When we look in the forest, it's easy to say Bigfoot. It's easy to maybe secondarily say Dogman. What other kind of creatures are running around the forests of North America that we may not know?
There are different types of elementals, gnomes, fairies. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in the forest. I was told that they are called the Watchers, but it's not the same Watchers that you're talking about in the Book of Enoch and the ones that failed. These are just these cloaked beings. You can't even see into the cloak. It's just, but you can see their arms are like within the cloak. And I've seen these at a location in New York, and they're the ultimate. They're about 12 to 14 feet tall, and it's just, and then for them are other beings like Native Americans pop up and spirits pop up. But that's what a lot of people are saying. Fairies, light beings. Light beings are getting bigger now too. Things that have an illumination to it and physical structure. I've seen, I've shared this numerous times during the lockdowns that we went into the mountains, and my youngest is a ham for the camera. So I told her, photo. And being a paranormal, researcher, cryptid researcher, you don't take one photo. I take series of 6.
Hold that thought.
Right.
We got to disappear for break here. Bryan Bowden is in our cryptid world tonight, filling in for vacationing and working Varla Ventura. Bryan is out of Florida. He is a podcaster with Third Eye Live and many, many appearances on documentaries, television shows, radio shows. He's one of the good guys in this field. We continue with him right after this. Hillbilly Herb, how you doing? Nice to see you. I'm hardcore over on X. Let's see. Says I got all my shots. I think I'm ready to enter. That's kind of funny. Hey, are you using the hotel Wi-Fi or are you just using your phone?
I'm using hotel Wi-Fi. Is it cutting in and out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it'll automatically go to the phone, but I don't know how well it would work. You want to try it right now?
Yeah, I think it would probably be a little bit clearer.
Let me flip this and see if I can hold on.
Yeah, keep going.
I'll shut off my Wi-Fi.
Brimley, how's the diabetes tonight?
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Let me go to, I don't know why my camera's not working now. There we go. Is it better? Is this better? Is it a lot better or a little better?
The audio is a little bit better. The picture quality isn't as strong, but that's okay. I'm more worried about the audio than the video.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, hotels used to be able to plug into a modem or some kind of device.
Right.
Not anymore.
Erica Stover, if you scroll up, you will see that I said hi, Erica Stover. I did not miss you, my dear. I'm always looking. Hollow Sky Podcast. Welcome to SOR Chat. How you doing?
Kitty catty whack.
And Babylon Rose. How you doing? Thank you for joining our membership. Bombshell Bomber. There she is.
I've missed Stargazer, by the way. Stargazer, I see you now more, and kind of disappeared for a little bit. So I hope everything's okay.
Who's this Florida man? Does he have a podcast or 42? No, he's up into the thousands now. He's up into the thousands.
2 Monday night, open your mind, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We teach remote viewing how to vibrate, resonate, and get your frequency higher. And then Third Eye Live.
All right. Resist. How you doing?
Hey, BJ. BJ's awesome. She helps me on the show. She posts some really cool things and supportive and
nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Andrew Gnome's trucking.
We got about 2.5 minutes.
I thought you said 2.5 minutes.
Oh, God.
Hey, it's been a long day. Tornado. New York, PA. PA, DC, now down here.
So I got to tell that here's a quick story. So a couple weeks ago, we had this giant car collection come through town called Hot July Nights. Great event for our community. Fantastic. Awesome. Over 650 cars.
Jesus.
We're there. It's just beautiful. So I meet up with this one guy at a tattoo shop. He goes, because I was thinking maybe I'll sneak in a tattoo today. I did not end up doing that, but he's like, so what kind of tattoo are you going to get? I said, I'm thinking Bigfoot or aliens. Well, you know, that stuff is real, right? Yeah, I do. And he kept trying to educate me on all of these subjects. And every time I went to open my mouth, he would cut me off mid-sentence, not even paying attention to what I was saying. Oh man, you got to be careful with all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know. I'm not quite involved in this field. Well, I've been doing this for, I've been on paranormal investigations when I lived in Ontario, and I've been here and I've been there and I've done that and I've seen some shit, man. I've seen some shit. You would never believe what I have seen or experienced. Nobody's experienced more than I have that I've ever met. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Well,
This went on for for some stupid reason, because I was thinking of getting a tattoo. I let this go on for about 25 minutes.
really?
Yeah. And he kept cutting me off. I finally snuck in, I have one of North America's largest radio shows on these topics. Didn't even hear it.
I remember you,
Didn't,
Melissa.
did not even
Yep.
hear it. And I was just like, oh my God, whatever.
So,
The
so if
Goblin, how you doing?
I'll tell you, that's the type of person that if you told them your stories or your encounters, they'd say, you're making fun of them or you're making it up.
Oh, probably. We got 5 seconds. Thank you to Tallest Ones, Deboruni and Mickey G for the super chats. Here we go. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Bryan Bowden is our guest on our Cryptid World. We're going to get into the Dogman phenomena here coming right up. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go on our Cryptid World. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight. You have had Dogman encounters. You've been face to face with these weird, ugly things that stand between 7 and 8 feet tall, the head of a werewolf, the body of a human. And Bryan, tell us all about it.
It's not my favorite thing to see, Dogman, but it was actually more. I mean, I don't know if it was human-esque. The one that was the original one sitting in front of me that I was peeing in front of. I'm not out of fear, by the way, because I didn't want to urinate on a gravesite, mass gravesite. Had definitely a canine build to it. Kind of like if you've ever seen a Leonberger, which is a massive dog. Sitting down, it could be 6 feet tall. So, and this thing was huge. It was massive. It was just out of the reach. It was a little bit in shadow. You can see the snout. You can see the pointed ears and the amber eyes, and it was just still. I've never in my life, and I've been around dogs my entire life, show dogs. I got dragged to dog shows. It was the most boringest thing in the world. I know how dogs operate. The people that train dogs in the United States that started this whole training and home training, they were friends of my family. Arthur Haggerty, he trained all of them. And I know what to look for with dogs. This thing was the most unusual thing I've ever seen. And sitting down, its snout came up to where my nose was. So sitting down, it was about more than that. It was about 8 feet tall, sitting on its haunch. And when it lowered itself in one fluid movement, it kind of went behind this log that was a big log that was separating Ed from me at about 15 feet or so. That's when I got the goose pimples. I got in my buddy's car and we peeled out. The other close call was taking some people up in New York State to try to see Bigfoot, not realizing I haven't been there in a year and things have grown over, certain trails. And they came upon what I would call a young Dogman. And this definitely had more of it was massive chest, but it had the arms that would look more human than canine, and huge snout. I can't even express how big the fangs were on this thing. Probably 6 inches, if not greater. And it made this deep growl. low and slow, and it was a rumble, and you can feel that. It was about 20 yards away in my chest.
I gotta cut you off right there.
Sure.
How long do those growl rumbles last?
This one was it was long. Um, I wasn't expecting it. These people, sure as heck, that I brought up, they were looking Bigfoot. Um, they were scared out of their minds, and this was, I mean, at least a good minute, like, and it just like it was telling us you need to go now, and I had to, rise to the occasion. Okay, let's go. And when they turned around to go, I said, stop, never turn around. Let's walk out slowly and backwards. Keep going, and I kept my eye on it. And it slowly lower, that slowly started to realize that we were doing what it wanted, get out of here. And when we went behind a few trees or out of its sight, I'm sure it smelt us. I took them back down to the car, and they were just, what is that? And I explained it to them, and I explained it to one of them because the other one was just, take me home right now. I mean, they both were take me home right now, but one of them just wanted to get a little bit more. He just couldn't believe it. You would never believe it if you came across this. You would think it was someone standing there in a costume, or they were filming a movie. And it's a grotesque looking. I can't explain the coloration is black and a little bit of like a chocolate. It's just vile. It's unnerving. Um, but that is the second interaction with this cryptid where they could have easily taken me out, all of us, without even thinking about it. But it didn't happen. Now, I haven't changed my mind. I definitely do not like them, and I do not want to have more interactions with them. But I have a preference of what I'd rather see. So I would start, I would always like to see a Bigfoot, and they're not kind and gentle. They're not, Harry and the Hendersons. These things are nasty too. There are some that are very aggressive and wild and not with their faculties. Um, and then then they would go to the Dogman, which I don't really like. The one thing I have yet to see is a rake or a creepy crawler if you're down south.
Okay,
And
before we get more into Dogman talk, explain to people what a rake is.
A rake is also called the creepy crawler. It's very slender, and sometimes people see it as a very pale white figure, exaggerated long arms. It usually is crawling really low to the ground, and it looks like it has a face, but no one can really tell if it does have a face. It's almost as if you put latex over your face and put a hole in your mouth, in that mouthpiece. It conforms to your face and it looks like a head or a face. But a lot of people say when they're up close and personal, there's nothing really there. It's just like one solid piece of latex. And they're very, very, very aggressive. They will come running right at you. And I know of an individual out of Texas who his family has property that they've had for generations. And I believe it was his 13th birthday. And he had a rake, creepy crawl, always come to his window and scratch on, they were on the first floor of this cabin, and scratch on the window and try to get him to come out, motion to come out, and even mouth it like, come, he couldn't really describe the sound of it, but it sounded like it was trying to say, come. And one time he was like, I'm done. 13th birthday. His dad kept a Mini 14 in the house and about 40 rounds or something like that, or the double mag. I forgot what it was. And he got up from the bed and the thing kind of it looked like it got excited, like, oh, he's coming. He grabbed that and went right at it outside the house. And he let in 40 rounds. And this thing took off. And when it took off, he followed up with more rounds. And the dad came out and was very, very upset with him. And what are you doing? You know, kind of like going to beat him. And he said, Dad, I've been telling you. And the dad, you know, parents don't believe that there's ghosts there or there's a monster under the bed.
Right.
Unless I'm a parent, you know, and I'll like, okay, now I got to go look. Get the camera ready, honey. You know, get this on film, please. But a lot of them don't believe it. And like, what do you're pressing the trigger on that thing. And when he went over to the window, I said, I got him right here, Dad, point blank. I put X amount of rounds in him. And when they went there, there was a blackish substance on the floor, looking at it with their flashlights. Wow. And then it trailed off. And, you know, there was more blackish substance, but there was no physical remains. So I've heard this before. I've heard of people, hunters. There was a gentleman who he did high power and high tension wires in the middle of everywhere. And he asked the owner of one of the wires or the property there if he can go on his property, and he got permission to use the high tension area to go hunting. He thought, well, what a great blind for it, right? And he went up on it and he saw something. He thought it was, actually, no, I think he saw a deer or a buck, and he was sighting it. And then he saw something else come out, which was the rake or the creepy crawler. And he was a bunch of yards away, like significant yards away. And this thing knew he was looking at him and was kind of looking back at this person, like he connected with them. And he couldn't figure, you know, he said, oh my God, oh, like, what is that? What is that? Almost out loud, lost the inner monologue. And the thing started coming closer. And there was a fence around the high tension wires. And it started to climb the fence. And he literally heard it mimic his voice.
Oh my. So
he has a 308, boom, straight where he has to, between the you know, knocking its lights out. And he goes, this thing got up and ran into the woods. So I know of another person, a friend of mine, Natalie. They were out in LBL, Land Between the Lakes. And they had rakes, creepy crawlers there, 2 or 3 of them. And they just started coming right at them, her and Greg Ogles, who's a Relic Media. And that was the first time Greg has ever drawn his weapon on anybody, 10 millimeter. And Natalie is always big on the bear spray. And she fended it off by spraying it with bear spray. And it retreated from that. So one might have to ask, like, I've heard other stories. These things don't go down easily. And they don't, I think they just disappear. Are they eliminating? Can you eliminate them? I got to choose my words wisely because we're on internet and YouTube, and I want to put the right words in so no one gets tagged on it. But it seems like they may not be easily taken out. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. I have a buddy that owns an outdoor store, and they all know what I do and the investigation. And he goes, he came out of his house one night. This was about a year ago. And he said there was this is when, remember those fogs that were coming around the areas, different areas, leaving a blackish goo or residue? We had them in the US at certain areas. He goes, they come outside and my livestock is doing a death spiral. 3 a.m. They're marching in a circle. He's like, what the heck is going on here? He then notices a sound coming from his pump motor. Something cut the pump motor, the hose. He goes, you can't cut this. Is like industrial strength. And it was a weird type of cut. It wasn't like a shear or a knife. And he couldn't figure it out. He jerry rigged it. He kind of calmed the animals down, and he said, I had to get the hell out of there. So he went back in the house and locked the door. They don't normally lock the door. The next day when he was going to leave for work, he found a dead bird right in front of his truck where it was supposed to get out. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. He goes, yeah. And then I got this picture on my cell phone from he owns like 40 or 40,000 acres. I forgot what the number is. I think it's not 40,000, but probably 40. He has a bunch of property in outside of Palm Beach County in Florida. And they have hogs up there, and they do sport shooting as well. And he says, this is the trail cam. It is a picture. And I'm like, where is this? He goes, my property. And there were 6 rakes on that film.
That's
He's like, what is that? Are those people in costumes? I said, no. Those are rakes or creepy crawlers. Now it would make sense because he does have a ton of hogs out there, wild hog. And if they're looking for flesh, most of them are looking for some kind of flesh, meat, blood. It would make sense. But I said, you should not go out there unarmed. He goes, I own a gun store, which he does. And he has some high powered stuff. We're allowed to have different things here in Florida that most states would say no to. But he doesn't go back there. He'll go back there with a team of people, but he won't go back there alone.
Well, you can't blame him.
No, I'm like, give me the address. I want permission. I want to go up there. Because I want to go up there. I want to see them. I think that there's enough food there, livestock, that they would not bother with you as a human.
Bryan, what do you think these rakes are? Like are they flesh and blood? Are they dimensional creatures? What do you think they are?
I'm gonna go with what I think most of them are creatures that can be flesh and blood, but can also go dimensional. I say interdimensional. I mean, we're using it as a universal, but they're able to get in and out of places quickly. And I think they are. I think Bigfoots can do it. I think Dogman can do it. Mothman can do it. The flying humanoids up in Canada can do. Chicago can do it. Black-eyed children, they can do it. Shadow people can do it as well. But I think, like anything in this world, not to say the Bigfoots and the Dogmen are good, but you have a good and a bad, and of this whole type of paranormal world. And I think they reside on the you really don't want to have an interaction with these because they're aggressive. They go and try to attack always. This is the same creature, and I've got I think it was North Carolina, if I'm correct, where the one of them jumped in. He was passing something on the side of the road. It looked like a human being. I think they can morph into things that look like they're human and look like they have the facial features. Maybe it's trying to take advantage of someone. But this thing got in the guy's truck, and he turned on the truck bed, and you hear the 911 report. It's in my bed. It's in my bed. What is that? And screaming.
I've heard that report. That is
creepy. Yeah. A couple of guys. I was on North Carolina investigations. Those guys up there, great guys, and they know exactly where the location is in the Carolinas, and they're planning on going. And if I can get up there, I'm going to go with them because that thing's not gone from that area. And I thought the guy was coming back at a fairly late at night. It's an opportunity. Oh, look at this. These are all opportunities for these creatures to get what they want. What most people don't realize is most Dogman sightings, most of them, happen at night or early in the morning when people are walking their dogs and they're smoking cigarettes or cigars. Specifically, with smoking is involved.
Why do you think that is?
Because people remove themselves because they don't do it internally anymore. You have to move to an outdoor spot. And if you're, hey, that's one of my vices. I don't do anything else, and I'm trying to give that up. But you always have to go out, and you're always by yourself. Most
Right.
smokers are pretty comfortable to be by themselves. They don't need a whole team of people to come. And you'll go to the side of a restaurant or, you know, whatever, and have your cigarette all by yourself. And there's an attraction to the tobacco, the smell, the fact you're by yourself. You've got no backup. That's why I think, that's why it happens. It's
Bryan
pretty
Bowden is
interesting.
our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got about another 3.5 minutes before we go to break at the bottom of the, or the top of the hour here. When do these rakes come out to play? Are they just seen at any time, or is there, similarities between people having encounters or sightings with these?
Most of them happen, from what I research, at nighttime or limited lighting. So you'd have the early morning when the sun is just creeping up, or at night when the sun is going down and it's dark enough. I don't know if that has something to do with a visual thing. They could be very nocturnal, and they may have something over their eyes, kind of like. And if the sun comes up, they can't see that. That could be the possibility. It's kind of like wearing night vision glasses. I've done this to someone by accident, and they have the full night vision goggles on, and you turn on a flashlight, and all you do is blind them. That's how bright it is. So they're mostly at night. But I did find a correlation that if you have Bigfoot, you'll also get Dogman, and Dogman begets rakes, and the rakes go after the Dogman, and the Dogmen do not like the rakes, because a lot of times Dogman will be blamed for stuff that the rakes are doing, specifically killing cattle. There's
We
a
get a lot of we get a lot of cattle killed here, not mutilated, killed due to predatory action up here.
well, again, these things, you take a bite out of it, or if they have some, if it's almost pointed like a razor or something like that, or a sword at the end of their hands. That's what it kind of reminds me of, but it seems to have digits. But you do something like that, there are creatures that can do that. There was a farmer that he knew he had dogmen at one point of his property, and then he started missing. Cattle was being slaughtered, and he's like, he had enough. He was going to go out and hunt down the dogman, but the dogman, literally, he was going out to hunt them down, and they were. This is the story. They said, not us. You have rakes, and they blamed it on the rake. So
No kidding.
no kidding. I'll try to find where that story came from, but I literally heard it myself, and it was like an eyewitness account being recounted by someone who investigated it. And it may be connected. It was maybe a Butch Witowski connection. I'm pretty sure it was, actually. So I just got to figure out where it was.
Bryan, are these things seen over all around North America and the world, or are they just located in certain places? We got about 30 seconds.
I think they're everywhere, but I think they don't have the competition here like they have in some other parts of the world. There are other, bigger animals than them that are very, very aggressive too. Try pulling that, and have a Bengal tiger come out of the woods. It's like that's a big apex predator. You may not win on that one.
No, there are certain things you just do not want to do.
Yeah.
And that's also a nightmare for me, is all of a sudden, having a Bengal tiger come on out and say hello. That's not good. Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. And when we return, we're going to get into the watchers. More people are talking about these watchers that are just watching. Look at it. This is Spaced Out Radio with host and Scott. All right, buddy, we are clear. We're just going to play a quick video here, okay?
How many minutes do we have?
5.5.
5.5?
Yeah, make sure you wash your hands.
I'm not doing that.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit CaribouCon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right. A big thank you tonight to our super chatters, Mickey, Deborah Rooney, Tallest Ones, Mark, and Bigfoot Rob. We really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. It helps with our YouTube algorithms, and we want to keep that going. So we like to get a minimum of 100 each night at least. And is there anybody who's jumped in here? Let's quickly have a look. Nope. Here we go, Bryan. Let's kick off hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're talking monsters and legends with Brian Bowden on Our Cryptid World. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Palpabration. Palpabration is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our good friend Brian Bowden is filling in for Varla Ventura on Our Cryptid World tonight. We love it when Brian's here because he's so knowledgeable, not only with his knowledge of his research, but his own personal encounters and experiences as well. And we love it when Brian is here. Thank you, Brian, for filling in tonight.
My pleasure. It's great to be here. Always great to be on Space Out Radio.
We're going to get into the Watchers. Now, up until about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I'd never really heard of these things. And yet now they seem to be the cryptid du jour in 2026, that everybody seems to be having these encounters with them, Brian.
Yeah, it's I'm not doing this as a shameless plug, but I just put this out with Ron Murphy's Sacred Ground. And in there we discuss it's basically Native American traditions, the serpent mounds and other mounds, and the connections to the angelic Nephilim extraterrestrials throughout America. And I do give it's kind of hard to see, but there is a chart here, and it deals, this is on the angel orders and the good, bad, and stay the heck away from them. There are watchers in there. They were the ones that corrupted humanity, produced Nephilim, Genesis 6, and the flood and the catalyst, and they were fallen angels that were imprisoned. But we're not talking about, I don't believe we're talking about the same watchers. I've seen this in a remote view. I was remote viewing a conflict in the Middle East a couple of years ago, and things that were happening. And I always post my notes up there for anybody that wants to look at it and watch it. Take a look at it. But I did see a a world leader or semi-world leader standing in a room in the center of like this floor, and in front of them at a higher level were these nine. I called it the Council of Nine. That's what I got, and they didn't say a word. They were exactly like I described previously. They had hoods on, like a cloak, and you couldn't see them. It was dark, and they just literally kept their hands in this type of position. And they didn't say a word. And this world leader was pleading with him. I did what you said. I did, as if he was paying homage to him or something. I've seen something similar in the woods. And the psychic for our group, her name is Cindy Bailey Dove. She said they are guardians of the forest and also sometimes called watchers. And they observe what is going on throughout certain areas. And I don't know if they're the ones that pass judgment or are ultimately in control of something, or there's another, focus for them. But they have been seen. Other people are talking about this. I've been talking about them for a while. And I'm just trying to I've never heard of anybody having a communication with them at all. It seems very one-sided in the communication that I remote viewed. It was very bizarre, but they definitely seem like they have some kind of power or control, ultimate control. So I don't know what you've heard.
Well, they seem to be hiding behind trees, or just standing off in the distance watching. They do seem to be almost like a shadowy black color. Some people will say they're hooded. Other people will say they look a little bit hairy. The eyes can be red. The eyes can be yellow or green. I mean, they seem to be just kind of lurking and watching, and nobody really seems to get a proper look. They don't really see them move unless they're moving back behind the tree. You know what I'm saying?
They kind of blend
Sometimes they're
in.
running in groups, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, look, there are. It's very interesting how the world, the universe works. Good and evil works. For some reason, and I'm not trying to get biblical here, but we goes a little bit back to the Bible. When it comes to God always needs a witness. I need you to be a witness. It's always said, I need you to witness something, no matter what it is. Witness him parting the Red Sea or other acts of God. And then on the other side of it, the Lucifer, evil, satanic, whatever, it's not that they need a witness, but they have this rule where they've pretty much they are forced to tell you what they're going to do. They don't have to tell you exactly how it's going to happen, but they're going to do something to you. And if nobody balks at it, then your silence is consent. And I thought that maybe these watchers were the ones that are the line judges, in tennis or whatever. They're the
Right.
ones that say, nope, you didn't follow the rules later on. No, you can't do that. Almost the ultimate say. And I don't want to say anything's more powerful than God, because I'm a God-fearing person, but it gets to the point where if the watchers are watching God say, I need you to be a witness, and I think they do it so you can testify about it. Why does God need a witness? And are the watchers not powerful, but do they act as judgment for what God has done, saying, yeah, you followed the rules? That's what it seems like. It's kind of like a referee in the crazy world of the paranormal, being the ultimate, name for like ghosts, UFOs, etc., Bigfoot, cryptids, whatever you want to call it. but I did notice that there are some more people discussing it. I have yet to. I saw them up in upstate New York on an investigation 2015, but other than that, I've never seen them thereafter. I'd like to see them, and I'd like to have maybe an interaction and say, "What are you? Who are you? What's your purpose?" I don't know if they'll actually, you know, answer to me whatsoever, but it'd be pretty interesting to find out.
Do you think then that the glowing eyes are a common feature on these?
I think anything that is existing in some sort of day or light, like a nighttime situation or a darker situation, that you can't technically see facial features. The eyes have to. I think there has to be markers that give something away. And I don't know if that's a rule of the universe. Like I just said, you have to have a witness. They got to tell you before they do it. You've got to complain if you don't want it done. Then they can't do it. Maybe that's the way that they get perceived. Their eyes, the illumination of them. I don't know if it's actually a faculty. I don't know if they're actually using it. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you start to remote view and you start using other abilities, you get this sense of knowing as if you've known it your entire life. Like, I know my name, I know my address, I know my best friend's phone numbers. They don't even live there anymore. And I think these creatures have some kind of universal knowing, but they have to have a beacon on them so that, I guess, no one can cheat in the process. There's Native American folklore about watchers, strangely clothed or beings that they talk about. You can't see them, you can't see their face, or they disappear within the trees. So it's just very interesting.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that, there are so many witnesses to these things? Do you think that, these are affecting people too? Because many people who have had these close encounters with these watchers claim that they are being mentally observed as well.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's it's a knowing. That's what I was trying to say to you. There's a knowing there, and I don't know if it's a telepathic communication, but they tap into everything, and they know things about you, and some of them may communicate with you, and you would just it's if you don't have the constitution for this stuff, and you don't, everybody thinks, oh, I can handle it, until there it is 6 inches from your body, and you can't. Some people can't handle it. So I think it would totally affect people. Even the seasoned veteran would be like, I'm not going out there right now. There are people that born and lived in the woods, outdoorsmen, outdoors women. They spend days, if not weeks, in the woods by themselves, and they've had encounters with something like this, and they won't go back in the woods ever again. They'll retire their firearms and their equipment, and you'll never see them in the woods again. But they never explain. A lot of people don't explain like the full breadth of what they're experiencing, because I think it triggers something within them that scares the hell out of them, and they don't want to go through the trauma again. Remember, and I'm going to bring up Butch again. Butch used to come on, and you would talk about this. that a lot of people that have had encounters specifically with Dogman, and when they see the glowing eyes, there's numerous stories saying it felt like they were inside my head. And to the point where for days, if not months thereafter, they would have nightmares because these things would still continue to tap into their thought process and their sleep process. That would be pretty damn unnerving, you know. If you're sleeping and the same creature or individual keeps tapping into your world, like, I'm not in the woods anymore. Leave me the heck alone. Why are you doing this to me? You know, I don't know if there's something more to it, but I'd be unnerved.
Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Another question about these. You
Sure.
know, do you think they are physical creatures or interdimensional entities?
People are seeing physical creatures. I don't know. I don't know if they're interdimensional. It's kind of hard to explain, but could they be projections and not physical creatures? Totally different than interdimensional. I do believe we have interdimensional beings that visit us, and they can straddle the dimensions. Case in point is the Bayside Mall incident. And everybody thinks it's a joke that took place down in Miami. It's not a joke. It's a legit major league UFO alien interaction with human beings. And what people were describing, phasing in and out, and some physical components to it, but not physical components, is something that is literally able to straddle both dimensions at the same time. And I would assume scientifically, if you were at that kind of level where you can do that, you probably could straddle both of them. You can have half your foot into this world and, you know, have the rest of your body in another world. And you get a little taste of both. But as far as these are concerned, I don't have any proof or any good interactions that I'm aware of that would say these things are interdimensional beings. But they very well could be holograms, holographic beings. And I'm not talking the Project Bluebeam stuff, which is fake stuff. It's pretty interesting that what you can project into someone's head at a distance when they don't know you're even there. And you play on their psyche. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very true. It is something that is a little bit odd and unique about the entire way these creatures seem to interact with people. So we'll get to a couple more questions about this.
Sure.
And then the next half hour, we're going to take some audience questions from our chat rooms on YouTube and X that we got going on here. Why do you think what do you think brings these creatures out? You know, why are the encounters with the Watchers seem to be like really intense? You know, like people just feel fear or death. Pardon me, dread, not death, dread.
Dread. I mean, I'm trying to think of it scientifically, right? And I know you don't like when people try to play scientists, but I did study sciences. Are they there observing nature, and you come in, and are they tapping into playing around with someone's mind and consciousness, and they're getting into the deep recesses of your brain and your mind, and things that are hidden that is nobody's business but your own? I would be pretty unnerved if someone knew that or was tapping into that while I was, you know, out on a hike, or even if I was trying to investigate Bigfoot. That's my personal space. And I think that's maybe what they're doing is they're draining them or siphoning all the information they can get from them. And when that happens, you kind of feel You kind of cannot get that feeling out of your mind or your physical self. If you've ever had the way I would look at it is, if you ever had a sinus infection and you did a
Yes.
neti pot, or you get to the point where you blow your nostrils and then some of the infection starts coming out and it's just hanging. So you try to pull it out, and because you're still in pain or whatever, you can literally feel it being pulled out of your sinus. Imagine that happening when you're going, you're not expecting it. And you're just like, hey, I'm going to go fishing today. And the next thing you know, there's someone in your brain messing around with it and knowing your inner workings and deepest secrets. I think that would scare the hell out of anybody. You know, not even on I could do 30 minutes, 40 minutes joking about it, but it's not a joke. Your business is your business. Hillbilly Herb's business is Hillbilly Herb's business. Paramar's business, again. And when you cross that boundary and you get into their space, their energy, their consciousness, it's a violation. It's no different than, I would say, a sexual assault on somebody. It doesn't matter male or female. And although they have more women, men do have those type of encounters. It's very, very uncomfortable. Look at Travis Walton. How long did it take him to speak up about what happened to him? No one believes you.
They
If
still don't believe him.
Right. Well, if people don't believe that you saw a UFO and they think you're crazy for that, how crazy are they going to think of you if you tell them, I saw this, looks like a man but really tall in a hood and a cloak, and the next thing I know, I felt like they were inside my brain or my head.
That is extremely creepy.
It is creepy, but I'm going to throw something at you too. What if, this is a different angle of it, what if they're playing around, be it on planet or off planet, with certain frequencies and tones, kind of like an infrasound, and those beings aren't real? They're just tapping into your head through a wave or a frequency, and then you're manifesting that image, but it's not really there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do get that. Many
It's
in the audience may not. I get it because I been doing this long enough to kind of get the understanding of that all.
there's technologies now where you can literally you can read people's thoughts and their processes. You can imprint thoughts and images in a person's head, and you don't even have to be in their country. So I can do that now to someone in China. If I have the right frequencies and sounds, then I can pinpoint them, or anybody within a certain area that's in this zone is going to get this image.
Right.
But then that would involve investigating. You'd have to have, I just had this conversation with someone. You have to have a spectrum analyzer with you 24/7, and and constantly monitor it. And what oh, it's 1.6 hertz, gigahertz, or 1.9, whatever. I forgot the number exactly. It's the one they talk about on Skinwalker Ranch all the time, and then other people take that and think that's the gospel. Well, guess what, folks? That frequency is military based, and it's also used for something called GPS. It's constantly there. Over time, the satellites go by and they beam it, and then it disappears, and it comes back when new satellites come in. It's totally explainable. They're just putting that stuff on TV to make it sound like there's some woo-woo in the area, but it's not. You can actually science that out, but you can also input images and fears and everything else in someone's head using other frequencies.
Bryan, we got about 20 seconds to go here
Sure.
before we go to break. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We have until the top of the hour where we're going to get into some audience questions about legends and monsters, breaking down the rank, breaking down the watchers. So remember those feelings, guys. If you ever feel you're in the forest being watched, you probably are.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, buddy, we're clear.
This close for me saying, Dave, you love to watch.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
very
Marv.
much.
Thank you, Paranormal. But I want to keep it a clean family show, Dave.
I hear you. I hear you.
Well, there's a lot of this is the problem we have today with all this new technology, and that's my dog having a bad dream right now.
Poor guy.
He's lying upside down. Life of Riley, and like what portion? And I don't want to get political, but what portion of people that are in charge or want to be in charge? What are they using towards us that we're not aware of? You know, I'd like to know the correlation between sightings of these things and where microwave towers are. Remember the old, I don't know if you had them in Canada, but we had a microwave. They're the smaller towers. It looks like a Lego set, a Rector set.
Right.
And they use that on the microwave band frequency. And that was in the event of a nuclear attack. We can still send out messages and receive them militarily to our ships everywhere. Hi, Kevin Murphy.
I had a guy a couple years ago, young guy, come up to me at the pub one night because my daughter was out and she was out with some friends and I had to go pick her up from the night. And so she says, yeah, my dad does all of these, this radio show about these topics. And he was telling me how he had they were up near Banff, Alberta, and they were climbing these towers. I think they were free jumping off these towers.
Yeah.
And they climbed up this one tall tower, and way off in the distance, they see this giant antler set, probably 500 yards away. They see this giant antler set come up kind of over the horizon. And then they realized that it was on two legs.
Wow.
And they were like, we're out of here. They didn't even jump. They climbed down and got the hell out of Dodge.
That is what you just described is leading me to think something you don't ever want to come in contact with. And that's the Native American Wendigo. Antlers are us. And yeah, that's pretty creepy. I was actually hanging out with spooks the other day, some of which are my friends. And I was asked to give an assessment and a remote view on something, and I did. I like them to pay me, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day, buddy. We got about a minute and just over
Sure.
a minute and a half.
Sounds like a plan.
One thing I like about you, Bryan, you never wear the same shirt twice on this show.
That's right. I can't take it off. It's just too damn sexy.
You don't want Deborah Rooney, the Sacramento treat, to be getting all excited and hot and bothered in the chat room. That's for sure.
And it would be nice to have somebody get hot and bothered over me. A lot of reflection while you're driving many, many hundreds of miles. Nothing like having a dog with you, though. They just don't care. They just love you. Although this one's scared of his own shadow.
That's hilarious.
I'm never taking him Bigfooting. He'd
I
be
would
like,
never take my little dude.
you'd be like, no, dude, you're on your own. I'm going to be in the car.
I got a video on my trail cam. I got to put it up here soon, but I got a video on my trail cam of a lynx with a rabbit in its mouth.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Big thank you tonight to Mark, Rob, Mickey, Debaruni, and the tallest ones for the super chats. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Babylon
Mark Getty's
Rose,
here.
thank you for becoming a new member of our YouTube chat. And thank you, Kevin, for gifting one out.
Yeah, that's a great job, Kevin. Thank you.
Here we go. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. And we are speaking with Bryan Bowden, filling in for a vacationing and working Varla Ventura this month and next on our Cryptid World. And Bryan, we're so glad you're here. Where can people find your podcast, Third Eye Live, and your books?
Sure. At symbol Bryan Bowden with a Y. So like you, just I just do it to my YouTube channel and my books right here. This is Beauty Buffalo Coyote Spell, and that's a really good story. And then this is Sacred Ground about Earth Mounds and Nephilim and aliens and extraterrestrials, all on Amazon right now. So, and I'm working on getting it. If you wanna, if you wanted something like, personalized, just message me on my Facebook Messenger. I think it's Bryan M. Bowden. You'll see my mug up there, and I'll send you out a link. You pay for it, what you want personalized, within reason, please. And I will personalize it. Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask you what the weirdest request you have.
Oh, it's just it's things that, yeah, it's within reason. You can't speak of that on this show.
That is very true. Let's get to some audience questions here as they are building up. Matthew wants to know if the Watchers originated in California.
No, I think
Sarcastic question though.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is something that is, I don't know, I want to say universe based, and it's global. I like the analogy I put there of like a line judge in tennis. They make sure that good and evil are going back and forth with the volleys and following the rules. But I'd like to look into them more, and I may just try to remote view that.
All right, let's go to another one. Dunzel is asking, did you ever see the video of the Dogman digging up dirt in a graveyard? If so, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have seen the video, and I don't know, the problem, it's still coming out at the same time that a lot of this AI stuff and CGI stuff is around, and it's kind of hard to say yay or nay on it. And let me tell you, the AI stuff is getting very, very good, to the point where, I mean, we as citizens of this planet desperately need something to be embedded so we know it is manufactured. It's not fair for anybody else. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen some strange videos in relationship with Dogman, and very well could be doing it.
In your opinion, then, what is the best Dogman footage you've ever seen? Or is it even out there?
I mean, so I think her name is Snow White. Her online name, I think that's her name. On the NADP, I was talking to Jody. They have thermal of what looks like a female dog, a dog woman with a child holding it, which is very, very interesting. There is a government-based video taken by our own government, and I don't know how it got released, of a dogman in the woods, and it was taken by some kind of trail cam they had. That is really, really good. And then there's some images of this creature down in Mexico, I believe, and that's interesting. But again, CGI and certain things playing, I don't know.
Let's move on. Jose is asking, have you ever seen any pics or videos of dog women? Following that up.
Yeah. Go to the North American Dogman Project website, and if you scroll down, they have the videos of this woman that took it. They were out investigating, and they got it. It's not like it's a thermal based image, so some of it's black and white, and using that palette, and some of it's I always called it rainbow or multiple colors, and you can clearly see that it's feminine, and it definitely looks like there's a baby there. It's all on NADP website.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this right now. I can
Yeah,
see
that's
the
it.
dog face, but can't really see.
Well, it's literally they do a drawing of it in the middle, but the head is where you can see it, but on the lower left of that image, that looks like it definitely looks like it has arms and a legs, and it looks like a child. It really does. You have to watch a little bit more of the video. And yeah, I mean, I do have from our investigation up in New York State, we one of our friends videotaped out in the woods, not realizing they were capturing something, and you can clearly see in an image several pups, and one of which is showing its teeth and growling, and some really grotesque thing there. But they'll show you, they'll outline it, and it's actually really, really interesting. So that would be the closest thing that I know of right now, publicly. I don't know, what happens privately. Some people may have some great evidence, but the problem we have, Dave, is that when you put it out there and you have to deal with all the knuckleheads that come out and, oh, that's CGI, that's this, you just want fame, sometimes people just don't want to release that information because I don't want to deal with the BS that comes along with it.
Let's go to Cairo here. Have you ever remote viewed alternate realities, dimensions, or planes of existence?
Not yet. That is something that has been on my bucket list. And I'll tell you what, we do a show on Monday, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern, called Open Your Mind. I may make something like that a target, and we can, everybody can do that. Take a look. And the cool thing about my show is when we assign the targets on Wednesday's show, and we say these are the targets. And right now, our current group assignment for everybody, including myself, is what's at the bottom of the Black Sea. And because I always found that interesting, I want to see what other people come up with. And people do their charting, and they put the target in, and they can do some sketches. We have a new. I put up a Facebook group where people can upload those images, and then we kind of look at them, and take a look at those images in real time, and then compare it to what we always get. Whatever people are picking up. But I'll do that. I have no problems with it.
Jose is asking, Are watchers anything similar to shadow people?
I don't think so. I no, I don't think they are. I think watchers are like the ultimate, adults in the room, and shadow people are just one of the elements that operate under the watchers in the way that they operate. Shadow people, this is just my theory. Shadow people, they prey on and consume fear, and it's the same thing as Monsters Inc. So when they're hovering over your bed and you're freaking out and you feel like you're paralyzed and whatever, and that adrenaline starts kicking in, they somehow sift that in and they take that. They love that. That's like a buffet for them. And watchers don't seem to do that. Watchers seem to just, it's kind of like a sentry. They know everything that's going on, or a satellite that's watching, up, you're not doing right there. That's the area, that's the quadrant, go in. That's what I think the difference is.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Let's go next to Jules.
Sure.
Speaking of digging in graveyards, does anyone see ghouls anymore? What happened to ghouls? They're on stage with Ghost. That's where they are.
Yeah, they need better PR people. I have no idea. I mean, I think a lot of people have misinterpreted certain names, but are seeing these creatures, but they're not using the proper, I guess, name or vernacular for it. Ghouls. It's interesting. I mean, ghouls are ghosts for the most part in my book. It's, the typical ghost is the one drawn with the sheet over it. Said that's so far from the actual case. It's beyond belief. I've seen pet ghosts, human ghosts, and something else that was playing in the same realm, as the stuff we would find on Earth. So I don't know why they don't use ghoul anymore. Let's make ghoul number one.
Yes. Yes. Unless
Casper
you're a
the
big fan of the
Friendly
band Ghost, where
Yes.
every band member is called Ghoul.
Ah, I mean, yeah, ghoul.
Love it. Love it. Let's go to Jaquetta here.
Hi, Chiquetta.
I know you're a remote viewer and you have 8,795 podcasts running at once, but have you ever remote viewed a place where any cryptids were seen?
Yes. I was remote viewing, kind of wanted to go into an area that was like, what would happen where when they turned the water back on in Iran, I started remote viewing some of that area because I've never seen desert with lush, fauna in there. And as I'm remote viewing that area, I'm coming over and I'm going through these beautiful, like a tropical rainforest. And the next thing I know, I go over a ridge and there are two dogmen there, and they're out. Well, they're young and they seem to be playing. So I just started watching them, and I think they were aware I was there because they looked in my direction, and then they just took off, and I could not keep up with them. But I've also remote viewed something which went from a lush environment and into a desert landscape, and there was a building in the middle of the desert that I went up to, and on top of them were kind of like these, I forgot what they're called in churches. It's where the stained glass would go in the windows, but there's a specific shape for it. And there were one, two, three, four on each side. And in standing in those, as I got closer, was what we call a watcher, individual. There was four on each side, and they were watching 360 degrees. And I said, I need to get out of here. And I got out of there.
Talk about having that feeling that you have to leave and
Oh, yeah.
leave now. What, you know, explain the intuition behind that.
Um, when you remote view, astral project, you can get caught doing it. And it sounds dirty that you're doing something that, whatever, but it's not. I've been caught by my psychic's 4-year-old granddaughter. Was caught by those beings that were in that, 4 on each side. And they literally, they were watching every move. If I went to the right, their eyes went, they didn't move, but their eyes went, and they shifted over, or the left, or whatever it was. I knew that that was something important in there, and they weren't going to let me in, and that would have caused me more problems. And it was an internal knowing. And I said, okay, I need to go now. And I left before looking, because I knew that if I went in to look at it, um, bad things can happen. So I didn't want to press it or push it.
Brian Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We have until the top of the hour here. Let's get to another question here. Let's go over to Melissa. Brian, please tell us more about what happened in Miami. I'm going to assume that's the alleged alien at the shopping mall.
Yeah. So what happened? Well, you don't send 270 police officers for a couple of hooligans at the mall fiddling around with sticks. You don't shut down 24 blocks, their power, and have a total blackout for a few kids lighting fireworks off playing with sticks. And I remember when it happened, I was up, I was watching live feeds from there. You can clearly see these 10-foot beings in there that kind of went translucent. So what I believe happened is this. I believe that during that time period, we were experiencing a ramping up of coronal mass ejections that were off the chart. And those things affect all hardware, like your GPS, they can affect phone lines, they can burn out all the electrical wires. And it's an EMF dump. I personally think that the extraterrestrials that ended up there were not supposed to be at the Bayside Mall. If you look at the coordinates of the Bayside Mall and you reverse them, it takes you to Antarctica. And I believe their craft got hit, screwed around with their guidance, and they went in the reverse, and they ended up at the Bayside Mall. And I was supposed to interview 3 people from there, legit people. And everything was fine. It was set up. It was within a week of the event. And then I called up a buddy of mine who arranged it, and he was with them. And they said, no, we can't do that. We will not do it. And basically they said they got threatened.
What kind of threats?
Yeah, big time threats. And in this day and age, these kids are, I don't want to sound old, but some kids are so empowered. They know that you can't really threaten children. Like, oh, you're not going to do anything. So they have this little bit of an attitude with authority figures, because sometimes you can't threaten kids. These people were genuinely, I cannot talk to you. I'm fearing for my life. So I said, okay.
You're convinced that situation was an alien.
100% I am convinced that it was an actual alien interactions and not anything more. I really do.
I want to believe this, Brian. I do. I really do. And when you look at the video, here's an interesting part, that when you go back and you look on the video, everything is pretty clear on that video, with the police cars, the trees, the mall, except the area where this creature is. It's pixelated.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that this is the difficult part, right? I was watching live streams on TikTok constantly, my old account, and I recorded every one of them. I downloaded them and recorded them. Okay. And I'm telling you, there were people in like an apartment building higher up that were zooming in on it. And you can see these creatures. Now, the pixelation would automatically lead me to say CGI or computer graphic, correct? So here's the problem. If these beings are interdimensional based, that pixelation you can be seeing is a legit pixelation between something that has half its body in one world and half its body in the other. And until it moves its leg, the right leg over into our world, it'll come out pixelated because it's not fully transported into this dimension. So I understand both ends of the spectrum, but I'm telling you, these people swear up and down they got nothing. They're not making money on this. This is the one thing where videos just started to disappear real quick. And to convince that many people is rather difficult. So,
Why do you think more people? I mean, there were allegedly hundreds of people around there. You could see people walking away and going away. Why do you think people haven't said anything about it?
I think it got out that there was a lot of threats. Like, this goes into the disclosure thing. If the extraterrestrials come down, and I have until 11:59 and 59 seconds on December 31st, because I believe they're coming this year, and they're going to reveal the disclosure. If these creatures come down, the people that are in power, that are controlling these things and locking up, devices that could help you and travel that's instantaneous and all these great things for mankind, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. And they don't want it to get out what's going on in the world. I have people, there are people on my friends list, and I'm doing the best to vet them, and so far I've been pretty good about vetting them. They're hybrids. And they talk about it. Sometimes one of them talks about it constantly. He used to talk about it, but he got shut down pretty quick. And they can do things nobody else can to prove it. And I confidentiality is very important for me. Your word is your bond, and if you can't keep that, then you're never going to get the next person that has some information that is important, that needs to, I can reveal the information, but I can't reveal the person that gave it to them. I'm not a news source. Spaced Out Radio is a news source. So your informants will be protected. But Third Eye Live, we're a broadcast. We're not protected. And I don't want to deal with that. I get it though. Nope, I just lost audio.
Yeah. A lot of people, Bryan, will say, why do you keep going? Why do you keep doing this? We got about a minute to go here before we have to say goodnight. Why do this?
My children were weaponized against me. I have tons of questions, want some answers, and then I'm trying to formulate theories or information that is important, maybe how to deal with this on a different level for the layman. I want to know. I mean, I really do want that ride in the spaceship where I'm aware of it. I'm not going to, nothing funny is going to happen. I want a telepathic communication with Bigfoot. I've seen him 6 inches close. passenger side window. I want to be able to, my next thing is I want to be in the car and tickle his hand.
Always about tickling the hand. Brian
Yep.
Bowden, everybody. Third Eye Live. Catch it on YouTube. Swamp Dweller and the UFO
You're
Reporter
listening
next.
to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Great job tonight, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate you too. Thank you, Luscious. Love the name. I'll probably dream of you later.
Hey, dude, drive home safe tomorrow, okay? Or wherever
Oh,
you're
yeah.
headed.
Yeah, it's not that bad a drive tomorrow. Tomorrow's like 3 hours.
Good. All right, buddy. Talk soon.
Hey.
Good night.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right. Let's bring in Grant Baker for the UFO report.
What's going on, my man?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? It's good to be back.
Thank you to Grant for a wonderful super chat. Thank you to Deb ×2, Cairo, Rob, Mickey, Tallest Ones, and Mark. Really appreciate your love and support, everybody. And remember, you only have till tomorrow to get your VIP passes for Caribou Con. Yeah. Only that. Only that. And we're coming back in 20 seconds. Blackthorn, how you doing? 10 seconds. Swamp Dweller will be just under 5 minutes, okay? Here we go. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Palpabration. Palpabration is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello, and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I live in Oregon. It's not quite a rural town, but our village is small and only about a 10-minute drive to what you would consider a rural town or area. Everyone's heard about the cryptids and lore of the Oregon woods. I wouldn't say I like these woods. They're just vast and terrifying, but at the same time tempting and beckoning. So I stay out of the woods. I don't hunt or fish, and I might go hiking every couple of months or so with some friends. But I make it a point not to go where I don't feel safe. So I typically brushed off all the stories about the woods here until I had experienced something of my own, and I'm ready to share what I saw that night. My friend and I worked the graveyard shift at a local bakery, and we always carpool. So she picks me up at about 11:30 p.m. The bakery itself is more rural, but the main road in town takes us almost out of there. It's a well-lit road until you get slightly out of town, and since it's the main road through town, there are usually passing cars or people walking, even at nighttime. It takes about 10 minutes to get to work using this road from my house. For about 3 months, this road was being repaved. We had to stop right before turning into the bakery to wait for the construction crew to finish whatever project they were doing. After 2 nights of being stopped right outside of work for over an hour and estimated date of construction being done being about 3 months out, we decided to start taking the back roads to work. The back way to work was on the opposite side of town of this main road. It took us out of town, around the outskirts of town, and finally to the bakery for a total of about 30 minutes of travel instead of 10. Heavy wood surrounded this back road. There was a private driveway to every house every 5 miles or so. No streetlights, no passing cars, no pedestrians. This road was also highly curvy, just constant twists and turns. As expected, we had seen a lot of deer and the occasional possum, squirrel, etc. This night, we started our journey through the back roads just like we had been all week. We got about 10 miles through when my friend went around this bend and suddenly slammed on her brakes. I was on my phone, so I wasn't really paying attention when it happened at first. I look up and this huge buck is right in front of the car. I'm talking about massive, not moose-sized, but one of the most significant bucks I have ever seen. He was just staring directly at us through the windshield. We were just frozen for a moment for some reason. We both looked down at the feet of the deer, and in between its front feet and its back feet was a dead raccoon. It was strange. It was a raccoon, and its face was pointed toward us. Ringlets on the tail, basically a stereotypical raccoon. Except this thing was also massive. Now, the buck was significant, but large dollars aren't unheard of. This raccoon was the size of a giant dog, like a mastiff. We looked back up at the deer, and it was still staring at us, like it was making eye contact with us both. Its eyes just seemed so evil. My friend flashes her high beams and honks the horn at it, hoping to scare it off. It doesn't run off. Without breaking eye contact with us, it slowly starts walking toward the car. We both are freaked out at this point, and my friend throws it in reverse, backs up, and swerves around the deer. The entire time it moves its head to keep contact with us, pull to the side, and drive away. We look back behind us, and this thing is just standing in the road staring at us still as we move out. We finally went around a curve, and I lost sight of it. But until then, it never stopped staring right at us. We talked about this a lot and about how weird it was. I didn't think deer ate meat. I'm not a deer expert. I just assumed they were herbivores. But it does turn out they do eat meat in desperate situations. So standing over the dead raccoon was the most unsettling part, even over the constant eye contact. Luckily, we weren't dumb enough to get out of the car, but I always wonder what would have happened if we did. Since then, I've been aware of the lore around here. I've heard unsettling stories and screams coming from the woods, but this was the only actual encounter I think I've ever had with what we could call the not deer. Maybe I'm just overthinking this, or maybe I stumbled upon something weird. Has anybody else listening to the show ever encountered this?
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every night here on Spaced Out Radio and on his channel. Let's go from the swamp to the stars. Time for Grant.
The sky, Grant's got the stories breaking through. What's hidden now comes into view. From distant light to secret files, mystery threats of mountain miles. Latest news, truth revealed. Every signal slowly peeled. So tune in close, don't miss the facts. UFO facts, we've got your backs. Becomes a song.
All right, the Grantavious one, Grant Baker here with the UFO report coming on up. Man, has it been a tough week for UFO news, but we still got to kind of pump it on out there. Grant, how you been?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me back, and look forward to this evening's topics. This is going to be a good one for everybody. Yeah.
Well, you were gone for about a week or so. Your wife actually injured herself.
Correct. She was on a kayaking venture here in Southern Oregon at Wood River, and flipped the kayak, got up to shore, sort of. The rocks were kind of slippery. She had a hold of something. She didn't know what it was, but she grabbed it, slipped, and it happened to be barbed wire, and it was bad. Had to have
Ouch.
surgery. Tendons had to be reconnected. She's doing better now, and so thank God. And yeah, it's been kind of a wild week. We all deal with these kind of things, and good thing is she has a charming and beautiful husband, i.e. myself, that is willing to take care of the baby and put everything on hold to cook her a steak dinner and lobster anytime that she wants.
Man, I'm thinking of the steak and lobster. Never mind what kind of a good hubby you are for that.
Yeah, don't forget good looking.
Well, you are a 10 out of 10, my friend. Thank you for being here. You know what? There's always these calms before the storms, because a lot of people are wondering when the next tranche is going to come out. A lot of people are wondering what's happening with UFO disclosure. Is it moving forward? Is it not? We do have some news here because, in between the UFO stories, and I hate to put it this way. I really do, because it sounds childish. It sounds soap opera-ish, but there always seems to be, during these lulls of news, where the drama really, really picks up. And we saw that again with Lou Elizondo, the former head of the ATIP program, and a couple of people who have been going at him publicly.
Yeah, there's a quote that he said, and he's addressing, Gerb? He says, "I'm addressing you who lied to look in the mirror," and this is a quote, "Frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself." And then Lou says, I gave him my cell number, and he never called me back, or never even once. There's also another one where he says another allegation that was made during this interview, and this is at Ross Cohort, was that somehow General Clapper and I had colluded with one another to try to go ahead and create this soft disclosure, and that we were going to go ahead and manage it and control it. That is, in caps, 1000% not accurate. In fact, we never had such a conversation, and Jim Clapper and I never met to have this conversation. There's also another quote. So again, it's factually not correct. And the problem is that you have an individual here, Gerb, who is sensationalizing stuff and making stuff up, quite frankly, who has ulterior motives that's deceiving you. And furthermore, they're getting attention on a national news network that, by the way, I respect, and that always been a friend of disclosure, and now manipulating them and providing false information to their audience to the point where they like a tabloid. And I think this is problematic. Another quote goes on to say, if you want to know why I have said I want to destroy ufology and replace it with something better, this is why. Because of bad actors like this, people who come out, they're just interested in clicks and likes. They're only interested in manufactured and false drama. And they're going about doing things that are actually putting disclosure further back than where we are. And this is absolutely a problem. He goes on to say, I'll share something else to you. Another anecdote about, or to show you the character of this individual. Recently, a month ago, I attended a function in Washington, D.C. This individual happened to be there. I didn't know who he was, but I saw a circle of people surrounding him, and they were berating him. I worried for his safety to some degree, and maybe figured he was getting picked on, and walked over and interjected. And as I pulled him away, I was told, hey, That's the guy that's been talking crap about everybody and been making things up. So I pulled him aside and said, hey, look, these people are obviously pretty upset with you. If you have any questions in the future, here's my personal cell phone number. Now, this went against my better judgment, but I did it anyways. As you all know, I'm very open and transparent. Lou went on to say, so I said, look, if you ever have any questions, please give me a call. And obviously, he looked at me. He had what looked like tears in his eyes, and he looked at me and said, quote, okay, sir. Yes, I promise I'll do that. I'll make sure that I'll call you if I have any questions in the future, and I won't do that and just start spewing off garbage. And I said, good. I appreciate that. You know, we can be friends. Whether you agree with me or not, I'm happy to give you information. Just reach out to me and I can clarify stuff. He goes on to say, well, guess what? A month later, he goes on a network television series and starts spewing off more crap that was completely wrong. He never called me once, right? So what happened, or what kind of due diligence investigation type skill set does it require just to go out and make stuff up about people, right? He also says, and this is why we're having a problem. If you want to know what's wrong with the UFO community, you have people out there, and by the way, yes, I'm addressing you, Gerb, who lied, to look in the mirror. You're the reason why we're having this problem with disclosure. You're the reason why people don't take this topic seriously. And frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself. I know I'm ashamed for what you did. You should be embarrassed. And the fact that you're talking to people and claiming you have access to stuff you don't. I don't ever remember you in any of the meetings that I was at the Pentagon or at ATIP. Quite frankly, in fact, if you want inside information, going to talk to somebody and saying you have an inside source, as far as I'm concerned, that's called gossip. That's not information. Lou went on to suggest what sounded to me like a possible lawsuit against Gerb. To be honest, when I first heard Gerb say this, I thought it was a potential slander issue, but it's hard to win lawsuits with that if a person like Lou is a public person. And
that piece was put out by independent UFO researcher Joe Murgia, and I appreciate Joe for putting that out. I want to address a couple of things here on this. Number one, in 2018, when Elizondo came out publicly, it basically says ufology must die. That's exactly what he said. He did it in an article on the website Medium, and he addressed the situation with ufology, that it needs to change, that current ufology really needed to change because there was too much drama, too much story time, and a lot of people were not taking it seriously because it was, in their opinion, about little green men and flying saucers, when this subject seemed to be a little bit more than that. But I'll tell you, I would take ufology every day over you-apology. Okay. Ufology may have had drama. Everything has drama, but it's never been as bad as the mudslinging since 2017, especially on X, which seems to be the Bible of all gossip when it comes to UFOs or unidentified anomalous phenomena. Okay. To me, as Nicole Sackage calls it, the 2017 crowd. That's where the issue really, really started to change the face from ufology to you-apology. And a lot of people will sit there and just roll their eyes and say, Dave, it's rhetorical. You know, you're just making things up. Go have a hard look at it. Go have a hard look, because you know what? The old school ufologists that we had heard of for years and years, whether it's Grant Cameron or Jim Mars, the late Jim Mars, or the late Stanton Friedman, or Richard Dolan, or any of the ilk, Linda Moulton Howe, and many others, okay, who really forged this prior to 2017 over the last 25, 30 years. They really pushed hard to try and find evidence that was out there. Sure, it may not have been as insider as we liked, but it was something that they pushed hard and strong for. Okay. And they worked their tails off. And they also talked about stories of real people having real encounters and how it affected them. When UAPology or UApology came out in 2017, that's where all of a sudden story time of people's experiences were over. And this was all about nuts and bolts. We couldn't even talk aliens because if you were talking aliens, they wanted nothing to do with you. It was UAP this, UAP that, much like a bad trend that people jumped on the bandwagon and tried to make themselves something under that.
Exactly.
And that's where the topic really started taking off on X. And you know what? To the original people on X, the Young Guns and Danny Silva and Joe Mergia and many of those guys, I hated them at first. I thought, where are these guys coming from? All of a sudden they come out of the woodwork and now they're right there. But you know what? They did great work. They did. But as more people started jumping on the bandwagon, that's where all the BS, the drama, the doxing, the insults, the threats, everything started coming out because everybody had a source. That leads to part number 2 that I want to say about this, Grant. Both people may be telling the truth here.
Yes.
Okay? Both people may be telling the truth. And that is where we draw the line. And this is where a lot of the drama starts. So UAP Gerb, who is a very, very popular person on X, claims to be connected. I've never spoken to the person, so I don't know. He's one of the people I do want to reach out to try and get on this show.
And just to tell people about who UAP Gerb is, he's so-called an independent researcher and YouTuber known for deep dive investigation videos and on basically government programs, contractors, and historical military UAP incidents. Just to
Exactly.
clarify. Yeah.
Okay. So he may have sources giving him information that are anti-ufology or anti-UApology.
Yep.
And he may be getting information when he's asked about Elizondo, saying something completely different. There was no ATIP program. He never ran ATIP. Okay, whatever it may be. And this is where Elizondo might be. And look, there are people out there who love and worship the ground Elizondo walks on. And there are people who think he is, one of the biggest liars in this field since Richard Doty. Now, I'm not calling Doty a liar, but what I am saying is people have accused him of being that in the past. Now, people will say Elizondo is Doty 2.0. But we don't know the truth. We don't know what is really going on. We don't know. All we see is the insider drama of he said, she said. Until there's paperwork that comes out that says, yes, Elizondo ran this program, we do have to question it. Right. And until, my insiders being different from your insiders, Grant being different from other people's insiders, and it could be all the same insiders who are telling us 3 different things.
Correct.
Because that is the way sometimes the intelligence community works.
100%.
So the big question is, they could be both telling the truth here, and they could be both right and both wrong. Your thoughts?
In certain instances, yes, I believe that you are correct. And when it comes to the insiders, they have a different agenda with different platforms and in different venues. So when it comes to somebody like Lou Elizondo, he's refuting the soft disclosure and he denies the claim. But then you also have Gerb who's saying, hey, this is what's up. When it comes to the sources, you mentioned Doty, and there's people that have been in the 3-letter agencies that have obviously come out into this field and said, hey, look, I'm into misinformation, disinformation, which there's a big difference between those two. And they have said that they've done this, including Lou Elizondo. You know, he's still a spook, just to be out there and real.
Hold that thought. Grant Baker in the UFO Report continues right after this.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Grant, we're clear.
All right.
Reminder, everybody, I will be on with Walter Sterling right after this show.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Deb wants to light her pants on fire. Thank you, Paramarv. By the way, we don't have ugly swag, people. spacedoutradio.com/shop. Go check it out. Even Sterling's got some stuff in there.
We do have some nice swag. Nothing ugly.
Dude, I need to get some more of it. Actually, I'll do that right now. Sometimes I don't get it, though. The shipping down to the U.S. is sketchy at best.
Well, most of the stuff I make is coming from the U.S.
I lost 3 shirts, man, like 3 years ago, and I've always been kind of sketched out.
I'll try it again.
I will.
Try it again.
Hold on. We own the night, baby.
Which one are you getting? Put it on the screen. Let's see what you're getting here.
Hold on. Let me share. Share screen. There we go. And shirt. There we go. And USA shipping. I don't have my wallet, damn it. What? That's the only 2?
What? No, there's more than that.
I'm going to go to Canada shipping. Let's see what's under there. What did I do? Shop. There we go. All right. Ooh, I like that one. The blade. That one's a good one. Yes.
Made that one for you.
Oh, okay. Here, let me back out.
There should be different colors there.
Yeah. I'm kind of a... Let's see what this one looks like. Ooh. What do you think I should get?
That's up to you.
Every time I get a white shirt, though, purple. It doesn't work very well in my washer. You can't see that one very well. I think we'll just do black. No. I kind of like that one. Kiwi. Add to cart. Come on. It'll think about it for a minute, I guess. Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess I got a whole bunch of them. I got 4 of them. Let's back that down to, come on. One of those. I don't need to keep on. Proceed. $90.
What? How much is a t-shirt?
Price $17.10. Update. There we go. I got it. $26.49. All right. Proceed checkout. Do you have my information? No, of course not. We'll do this one.
Might want to cover that part up.
I'm not worried about it. Place order.
And 90 seconds.
All right.
Luscious Jules, your hair looks beautiful tonight. Look at Deb with a nice hat trick right there. Deb with a hat trick.
All right, Deb. Game on.
Thank you, Deborah Rooney, with a hat trick. Grantavius times 2. Tallest ones, Mark, Mickey, and Cairo and Rob. Grantavius times 2. Tallest. Deb, how much streaking in the 70s did you do? Be honest. Guarantee you there probably somewhere near Sacramento, there's probably some lake that all the teenagers went to after a cruise along the strip. Probably some skinny dipping going on. Oh yeah, Deb's a skinny dipper. Guaranteed Deb's a skinny dipper. All right, 15 seconds. Where are we going next?
Oh, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about Skinny Bob. And there you go, Deb. I matched you.
Let us get into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio's UFO Report. My name is Dave Scott. We got Grant Baker with us. Got a good mustache going on, finally. All right. Let's talk about aliens here for a second, Grant. You got some alien news for us?
Yeah, and this is one about Skinny Bob, the new Skinny Bob video from QTECQOT. I don't know if that's an acronym for something, but a YouTuber going by QTECQOT has uploaded 3 videos claiming that they are of the recovery of Skinny Bob and a walkthrough of the craft. He also claims to be in contact with Ivan, the original uploader of Skinny Bob in the past. Call me skeptical, but these look AI to me. What do you think is the UFO Twitter, UAPX, Skinny Bob stuff? And you can watch this on YouTube as well. So if your skepticism is 100% justified here, if you have it, because I'm going to say that I'm not the only one who sees these new videos as artificial because I've watched it. The clips uploaded by QTECQOT include confidential leaked UFO EBE footage, and it's a continuation of disclosure. And they exhibit visual, technical, and narrative markers of modern generative AI combined with digital post-processing filters. Now, if you guys think that I'm reading this, I am. Why? Because I put that video through AI myself and asked what it thought. And this is what it came up with, because I was a little skeptical about it, just to be honest. There was key indicators that point to AI CGI creation, and this is what my AI came up with after I sent it this video. Number 1, generative AI motion artifacts and lighting inconsistencies around the 35-second and 43 seconds marks. The saucer flying past the plane cockpit displays smooth, floating trajectories, typical of generative video tools such as Sora, Runway, Gen 3, or Luma Dream Machine. And this is also coming from AI, folks. Real camera footage from an aircraft window shows atmospheric turbulence, lens flare reflections, the shutter speed interactions. Here the saucer and the brief alien visual at 1 minute, 23 seconds lacks realistic physics, depth, interactions, and weight. Number 2, heavy quote unquote vintage filtering to disguise imperfections, which is commonly used. It is using artificial degradation is a classic trick to obscure rendering flaws. The heavy black border, projector jitter, and artificial scratches starting around the 31-second mark act as a mask for CGI and AI edit or edge artifacts. This mimics the original 2011 Ivan 0135 Skinny Bob videos, which researchers famously discovered were using off-the-shelf commercial film damaged overlays such as stock FX plugins stacked over 3D animations. There's also number 3, sci-fi ARG narrative framing. The text intro at the 0 mark sets up a classic alternative reality game ARG storyline claiming a failsafe contract was triggered after the uploader went missing on the 4/21/26, promising a 7 videotape recording or recorded between 1942 and 69 fits the standard viral lore tropes often used by creators in the UFO creepypasta community to generate hype. The Ivan Contact claim. The original Ivan 0135 YouTube channel uploaded 4 videos in May of 2011 and went dark without ever revealing who made them or how they were produced, claiming private contact with an anonymous, decade silent creator is a convenient way to piggyback on established internet legend. And the conclusion of my AI, while the videos are creative and entertaining for fans of UFO lore, from a visual forensic standpoint, they show clear signs of AI-generated based video heavily stylized with retro post-processing filters. So when I watched it and I see, the scratchiness of the film, kind of like you're watching an old black and white film that was recorded on one of those crank-up cameras, those are the things that tell me right away, like, okay, who made this? What is it about? And so that's when I took the video and processed it through my own AI engine and said, what do you think about this? And it came up with the exact same paradigm. It's like, this is something that anybody that's watching it is not really going to believe. It's either for drama or effect and maybe just a grab at clickbait, I guess I would call it. What's your thoughts, Dave?
I'm really still debating this one as well. I mean, the original Skinny Bob, which was allegedly filmed in 1961, it looks to be at an Air Force base. It could be Wright-Patterson, it could be Area 51, who knows? But to me, the original video looks a lot more real. There's not as much editing. There isn't as much protraction of frames. I don't know about the second video. I really don't. And just, it really, really, makes me wonder sometimes, because I'm not good with fully understanding like really good AI. Like most AI I can pick out, like there's all these animal videos now, crocodile versus cobra, who's going to win? And it's all AI and it looks so real until you see how the animal is moving and there's nothing natural about it. But this one, I'm just not sure about whether or not this is a real video or not.
Well, you also have to understand that, back then they didn't have CGI. We had the ability, and I mean, I took photography class and let's see, I was a sophomore in high school. By the time I was a senior, I was teaching the class. I knew how to make on 35 millimeter film. We were doing our own. I mean, we would take the film, we would, rinse it in the solutions. We would do our own, we had the paper and we would be able to, make the image. I was in yearbook as well. And so I knew how to make a ghost on a piece of paper. I mean, it's super simple to do. And all it has to do is light. In this particular sense, though, we are way before, 35 millimeter film that we're using even back in the 90s. If you have a video, it's kind of like watching Admiral Byrd on the Long Jeans when he's talking about, Operation High Jump, even though it was a little bit before that. We didn't have the editing software back then to be able to create this kind of stuff. So if this is a real video and they have the reel somewhere of this, I would have to look at it. And then at that point, if I had the actual reel, the actual film, and I could watch it from the 60s or even before that, then it's really hard to, I mean, gosh, we didn't have animatronics back then. And Skinny Bob, his eyes were blinking, his head was moving.
Well, remember, the video was released in 2011. So
Yeah.
if it was faked from 1961 to 2011, which is 50 years, you know, we could be looking at something, you know, I mean, Pixar, for instance, was doing great work even before then.
Yes. You got to show me the actual film. And I mean, not the film. I got to see the actual film. It's going to be a 100-mile long film, probably weighing close to 5-6 pounds of this little bitty type film. And I got to see the real deal in order to believe it. Because in 2011, yes, we did have the technology to be able to create this. If it came from the early 60s, we did not. You know, and if you could produce that, then I would be on board. When it comes to somebody saying, hey, you know, we have this person that just ghosted everybody after putting a few films out on, you know, social media, I have a hard time believing it. And I mean, just like the interview with the alien, which is the one that was speaking, which was quite a bit later than that. That one was creepy, especially the questions and the answers that it was generating. It's a really good film for dramatic effect, but at the same time, we all knew it was fake. If that was actually real, then I would be a little bit more scared about what's going on in life. But this one, I'm gonna say that I'm on the side of the fence where I believe it is AI generated, and just the footage doesn't ring true to me, if that makes any sense.
Once again, I want to believe. I'm hoping it's true. I doubt it is, because the one thing we need to remember, Grant, is these types of videos will only come from channels that are not US government sanctioned, unless they built one on their own and they're hiding it out there.
Correct.
Okay. That's, you know, they always seem to go to these no-name people who have very few, and that makes it a little bit suspicious to me. Very few subscribers, that is.
Mm-hmm. So I don't have a YouTube show myself. I mean, I have one that I was wanting to do at one time, but then I quit doing that because there's so much mud in the waters that you're going to get drowned in the fakery. And I don't have enough contacts or support to be able to sit there and come out wholeheartedly and say, hey, look, I got a film that's 100% undeniable. And realistically, we're all in the same boat, whether it's our listeners, our experiencers. You know, most of the experiencers that are out there are just like you and I, where we might have a few, but we can't prove it. And to get that proof, you know, that's a long, dark road. And by the time you actually get it, you probably sign so many NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, that you can't ever come forward with it. So I quit down that track.
All right, we got about 8.5 minutes to go. What else do you got for us tonight?
All right, so this is a fist fight at Jim Burchett, and this is exclusively tells Ascapol, which is deep state, is hiding full UFO disclosure from President Trump. This is what caught their ear. How does Congressional UAP caucus get past these secretive deep state blockers? Then there's a quote. Well, there's some legislation that moved on some whistleblower stuff that was in one of the bills. So I hope maybe that they'll clear up a lot of it. That was at Tim Burchett tells us, but it's a fist fight. It's been that way since 1947, and we're not going to do it overnight. So my breakdown on this is the core premise. It's basically entrenched resistance. Burchett asserts that non-elected defense and intelligence officials, referred to colloquially here as the deep state are intentionally withholding classified UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, intelligence from the public and executive leadership. There is an oversight mechanism, though, here, which is whistleblower protections. When asked how lawmakers plan to circumvent these security gatekeepers, Tim Burchett, points to statutory protections embedded in recent defense authorization legislations. And there's a strategy: broadening legal safeguards for current and former military personnel and intelligence officers and defense contractors. The goal is to lowering the legal risk for insiders with direct knowledge of unacknowledged special access programs so they can report directly to congressional committees or inspector generals without fearing career-ending retaliations. There's also a historical framing in this since 1947 that he quoted. And by citing 1947, Tim Burchett, the reference, there's what is it? He's referencing the foundational era of modern U.S. national security classification, specifically marked by the Roswell incident and the passage of the National Security Act of 1947, which was created by the CIA and the modern military framework. Realistically, the timeline, calling it a fistfight, signals that overcoming 75 plus years of institutional secrecy and compartmentalized security protocols and defense contractor dynamics will be an incremental struggle rather than a sudden event, which I completely agree with, because we've been fighting this, just like they said, since 1947.
Grant, here's the thing. Burchett, once again, coming through saying, giving his dang gummits, giving his, we're going to war. We're going to drop the gloves. We're going to fist fight now. He's got a lot of cliches for this subject. And yet they're not showing us anything.
They never do.
And he's blaming it on the deep state. He's blaming it on everybody except for what they are able to get out. And look, he might be completely right. Burchett is a big fan of this community and trying to bring this out. How much do you think he's being played?
Probably a lot. Not only Tim Burchett, but then you got Anna Paulina Luna, Eric Burleson, and all of them are calling it a fist fight. When you have, what did he say, a punk kid with a man bun, I think is what he said. They're probably being played, even in a skiff, and they're only being told which the powers that be that are controlling all of this are telling them what they want to hear or what they want to be said out loud, because they know they're going to say something. And this is it's kind of like a puzzle that, okay, hey, we're going to tell these people these certain criteria, these certain things, and then we know they're going to tell the public on whatever media site they're going to say it on. And I think we're all being played.
Played how? Explain that to our audience.
So the way I think we're all being played is the actual powers that hold the keys to the information that we want know that we want them. And I think it's a lot bigger than Are We Alone or the spacecraft, which is just their vehicles of use. I think there's more technology that we're trying to look for, whether it's weaponized by our DoD or whatever contractors or whoever's in control of this. And they're playing this like a chessboard. In fact, I think it's not even that advanced. I think they're playing this like checkers. We say this to this particular person, and we know it's going to get out here. That way we can divert the attention of what we're actually looking at and what we're developing and back engineering, or what we come out with, whether it be, 0-point energy or anti-gravity. Doesn't matter what it is. And I think it's actually bigger than those two things. I think it's quite a lot bigger than that, which is why we've got the missing scientist and stuff. But what it all boils down to is the people who are interested in this, and this is why we've seen an exponential blow up on UAP searches and UFO and Timberchat and whatever have you, when it comes to Google or whatever search engine you use, is gone 400% in the last month or two. And they're driving this in a direction so they can go somewhere else and do the research and use taxpayers' monies, whether it's our government in the United States or in Canada or in Europe or wherever it may be. There's something out there that we don't know. In my mind, I think it's much bigger than are we alone? I think that's a small topic. I think that the UFO, or in their case, what they call UAPs, which most likely is our own, is just a subterfuge. Go ahead and look at this. It's kind of like, don't look at the man behind the curtain. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're focusing on. And that's what they want. I think what they're interested in is something much bigger. Big energy, big oil, 0 point energy. Of course, they don't want that out because then they lose all their money. And so it's a big game of where is the power at? And if they hold the keys, they got all the power and they can divert us wherever they want. And I believe it's just a big game of checkers and they're winning.
Well, when you're holding all the power and you are, the Western civilization right now is kind of pushed onto a military industrial type programming, it's easy for them to be able to do that.
Exactly. We've been warned about the military industrial complex. In fact, there's a famous quote by one of the U.S. presidents warning us about it, and it's already too late. But we still see UAPs or UFOs in the sky. We still have experiencers, and we're still on this channel. We still get viewers and listeners because why? We're all curious, and we are going to find out. You cannot hide it forever.
It is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out as we start to wind down tonight's show. Grant Baker can be heard on Spaced Out Radio twice a week in order to give you the latest and greatest in the UFO news, because it is news. And that's what we're trying to bring to you guys. Why do we do it, Grant? Because we love it, don't we?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite topics since I was 5 years old, when I didn't even understand what I was seeing coming through my bedroom window. And by the way, guys, keep your eyes to the sky because you never know what you're going to see.
Way to keep it singular, because the sky is singular, not plural. I like that. I like that very much. As we say goodnight to Grant Baker, and hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Grantavius one.
Good job to you, my man. It's good to be back. Holy shit, Nikes. I killed myself every time I had to tell you, hey, bud, I need another night. Hey, bud, I need another night. 3 times in a row. And I'm like, And then Wednesday or Monday, I tried to come back. And of course, Jen was like, I can't do it. I'm like, And I text you. And I felt bad. I just want to let you know I love you.
You're all right. You're all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're a solid 6.
Man, that's 2 points higher than I thought I was. Yeah, dude. Well, you're a 10. I mean, God damn, look at your head. You got a beautiful head. And you got your hair cut.
This thing's the size of a watermelon, man. I got a giant head. The only one who has a bigger head than me in the chat room is Fap. Got a big head. Belief Hole Podcast, welcome. SOR chat. How you doing? Belief Hole Podcast. We all need another night. That's right.
Andizer, the return of SOR weekends. Yes.
Soon enough.
Soon
enough. A-Cuff, how you doing? Good to see you here.
Trust, if I could do it, I would. 100, I did. Yes.
What am I doing? Right there is where I need to go.
You have no idea. Like, you want to talk about drama? Well, we won't talk about drama, but trust me, if I could do the weekend show again,
you'd never be a good team.
Oh yeah,
I'd be a power team.
It'd be on like Donkey Kong. Let's go.
You're a Donkey Kong. People look at you and say that Grantavius Max, he's a Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
They do.
Hung like a bull.
Heard them saying that down my street the other day. People were walking up and down my street saying, "Hey, Grant Baker's a Donkey Kong."
Yep.
I'm like, where'd you get that from? Why you say that?
You have no idea.
Oh, it's all over the internet.
Dude. Killing me. So my neighbor, who asked me about the show tonight, by the way, and I said here, and I gave him the information on where to watch it, and so him and his wife are going to watch it. And he's an old. He's not old. He's probably 70 maybe, but he's a retired airline pilot. And I was talking to him. He's like, "Hey, you need to clue me in on your show." And I was like, "Yeah, here it is, man. Come check it out." So he has stories, and he's such a killer dude. I love him to death. Like, I think of him more than a father. He's just an amazing guy. But he has photographic pictures on his phone from when he was flying commercial for Alaska and another one, and of UAPs or UFOs, whatever you want to call them. And he's like, "Dude, there is a spot on the western seaboard. Every time we fly out over the ocean, there's these lights, orbs, huge, way out in the ocean that should not be there. And there's nothing out there. There's not on radar, but they're there." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, you have no idea." Like, God, I want him on the show so bad. Oh, if I can get him to say yes, I'm going to get him in contact with you, and then you can interview him, because it would be an awesome show.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, yep.
Just getting ready to wrap mine up here, okay? All right, buddy. All right. Tomorrow night on the show, because I got to run, Phyllis Cesar is going to join us. What it's like to talk to the dead and aliens. It's going to be fun. Thank you to both Deborah Rooney and Grant for the hat trick of super chats. Thank you to Mickey. Thank you to Rob. Thank you to Cairo. Thank you to the tallest one. And thank you to Mark. And we'll see you tomorrow night. We're going over to WABC. Have a
Love
good
you,
night, everybody. Take care.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.